You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get sad again.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree hugging, hippie, free to be you and me types exit the facility immediately. Thank you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Well, folks, this is it. It's Monday night. We've survived another one. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. The worst day of the week is in the books. Now we've got Tuesday, Wednesday to look forward to, and we are inching closer and closer to the weekend. Now, a couple things, programming change here on America Off the Rails. The Day in the Life of Hillary Server segment is now being moved to original airing on Tuesdays, replay airing on the Thursday show. One of the reasons we're doing that is because normally the Tuesday show, parts of it anyway, are usually what wind up going over to the WNJC show, and that way I can make sure that segment starts going over there. And again, for those of you who haven't checked it out yet, I do encourage you to hit the archives. At some point, what I will actually do is go through and pull those segments and make them their own standalone little 2, 3, 4 minute bits, so you can enjoy them without necessarily having to listen to the rest of my pontification. Do want to give a big shout out to Eric Williams from barbaresatire.com. For those of you who have checked out the bit, remember all of the ad-lib stuff, that's me. The emails are him. So make sure you go drop a line to him over on his site and tell him thanks for all the hard work, because he has actually become an integral part here at K98 Talk since JD and Stacy have come over. They have, of course, been using him for quite some time, and now we have found a way to integrate him over here, and I'm looking for ways to bring him in even more. We also have another big announcement in the works. Actually, a couple, but I can't really say too much about them. But anyway, before we get too much further in, I want to give a shout out to the affiliates, because it's something I don't do often enough. For those of you who don't know, this show can be heard around the world, pretty much in several different places, and that does include some AM/FM terrestrials through AMFM247.com. We're also on WNJC 1360 AM out of Philadelphia. We are currently in talks, crossing my fingers, with the station in Dallas, who shall remain nameless until we can figure out if we're going to be able to make this work. Then, of course, we have Leading Edge Radio Network that does carry some of our content. They have changed their website, so I need to get in touch with them and figure out exactly when we are scheduled and if we still are, because it doesn't actually show our content anymore, but they've not notified me that they're not carrying us. So as far as I know, we are still over there. And then, of course, we also have SHR Media, where this show can be heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And, of course, on AMFM 24/7 is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. WNJC 1360 AM out of Philadelphia is Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have, I know there's Red State Talk Radio. One of the biggest ones out there, and for some reason lately I have been forgetting them. This show airs there every Sunday at 6 Eastern, and it usually is a fresh airing that goes over there. Not always live, but it's kind of early, so sometimes I don't really want to get up that early. But it's still a fresh airing. It's not always something that you hear here first. A lot of times I will do a fresh show for over there and then play it over here later. One of the things I always try to do, folks, because you take the time to listen to the show, and you take time out of your busy schedule to spend time with me, whether you're doing it on a live broadcast or one of the many ways that the podcast can be heard, or one of the many ways that the show is streamed around the world, coast to coast, and on AM and FM stations. It doesn't matter to me how you're choosing to listen. I'm simply honored that you do. So one of the things I always want to try to do is bring you as much fresh content as possible. Now, I know, and some of you have complained about this, and others have voiced approval. I know I've been spending a lot of time on Trump, but it's just something that I feel like I have to do, because there are too many people that, as far as I'm concerned, have sold out their conservative principles all for the sake of a W. So we have a lot of different things that we're going to talk about today, and a lot of them are going to be things that are in his own words, so that you understand exactly why it is that I have a problem with Mr. Donald Trump. And I know that I've done this a lot, but we're going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep pounding away at it, because I just want you to understand that it's not that I dislike Trump. I don't like his policies. I don't like some of the things that he stands for, but I don't know him well enough personally to either like him or dislike him. What I dislike is the fact that we have so many people in this party that are willing to forgo everything that they've said they've ever believed in as far as a conservative, all for the sake of putting somebody with an R behind their name in the White House. And look, I understand that to lesser degrees I have been guilty of the same thing, but up until now I've been able to find common ground at least on one or two things with the Republican frontrunners and eventually the Republican nominees. Now, it's come to light much, much later, like with John McCain, that I'm really glad that he wasn't the guy that got the election, because I think we would be in much worse shape than we are right now, because there really isn't too much difference between John McCain and Barack Obama. The problem that I have is with Donald Trump, there's absolutely no difference between Donald Trump and Barack Obama. I mean, with John McCain, there would have at least been a little bit of a gap between them, maybe standing side by side, but you know, if you're looking at them straight on, you could see a little bit of sunlight. Obama and Trump might as well be Siamese twins. And Hillary and Trump, they're best buddies. I have him in his own words saying that, and we'll be talking about that here in a few minutes. But there's other things that he said that are almost as scary. Actually, in some ways, even more scary. If you listen to Friday's show, when I had the author on, I did promise at the end of Friday's show that I was going to have some audio that I really think that you need to hear. And it really is about this simple, and it's only going to run for about 22 seconds. But it's very telling, and this is Trump in his own words. This is Trump giving advice to a room full of people. And I want you to listen very carefully. And it's so short, we may actually play it more than once.
You become very successful. The people that you will like best are the people that are less successful than you. Because when you go to a table, you can tell them all these wonderful stories and they'll sit back and listen. Does that make sense to you? Okay?
No.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Now, I'm going to go ahead and play that again, and I want you to listen again.
You become very successful. The people that you will like best are the people that are less successful than you. Because when you go to a table, you can tell them all these wonderful stories and they'll sit back and listen. Does that make sense to you? Okay?
No.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Always be around unsuccessful people because everyone will respect you. Always be the most successful one at the table because then you're the most interesting. These are the exact opposite of anything I have ever been taught in the business sector, in the private sector, in the public sector. The exact opposite of anything that I have ever been taught. The same guy who was telling you, the American people, over and over again, that he's going to surround himself with the best and the brightest people and the best people to give him advice, and it's going to be huge and they're going to be great because he knows how to get good people, just told you that he prefers to be the biggest, brightest, shiniest star at the table. And you tell me how that's going to work as president. We already have someone who tries to do that. The difference is Barack Obama thinks he's the smartest person in the room. Donald Trump makes sure that he is the smartest person in every room that he's ever in. He just told you that much in his own words. Listen to it again.
You become very successful. The people that you will like best are the people that are less successful than you. Because when you go to a table, you can tell them all these wonderful stories and they'll sit back and listen. Does that make sense to you? Okay?
No.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Now, I want you to think about what he just said there. There's a reason I edited that back together to run it twice. Always be around unsuccessful people because they will always respect you. This is a cry for help, folks, and this is him doing it in his own words. This is not him blustering or his buffoonery. This is him in a room full of what he considers friends or possibly people that he can relate to, and he is being completely open and honest with them about his true feelings when it comes to how he does business. He has decided a long time ago that he is the best and brightest and should always be the best and brightest in the room and always the best and brightest at the table. And that is not how good leaders operate. That is nothing but ego. Donald Trump is so, in that little 22-second segment, is being so egocentric, it is insane. Now, look, I'm not saying I'm the best businessman around because I've told you I've built businesses. They've risen, they've fallen, they've crumbled. This is now my third attempt. This one so far I think is going pretty well, but we're really about to find out because I have a lot of things working behind the scenes, and if a few things fall into place, then we're golden. If not, then I'm going to keep trying until we get there. But the simple fact of the matter is I'm not doing all of this on my own, and I don't tell any of you that I'm doing all of this on my own, and I don't tell you that I'm the biggest, brightest star on the stage. I mean, look, I'm the guy that's building K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network, and I don't even get the best numbers on the stations and networks that I'm building. I get my numbers, the good numbers, from other places, and that does not concern me one iota, because the simple fact of the matter is I have surrounded myself with a good team, and I have done so on purpose. Because I trust these people, and I want them to be able to trust me, And I would like to think that they do, but I can't read their minds. But I've gone out of my way over and over again to show them that this is not about me. This is not about ego. This is not about me wanting to be a superstar. This is not about me wanting to be the next Rush Limbaugh. This is not about me wanting to be the next Sean Hannity. What I want to do is I want to get a message out that the people can understand. And whether it's my personal show that resonates with folks or another show that resonates with folks, if I have a hand in putting any of that content in front of you that any of you listen to and you like, then that's just as important to me. And that's the difference between guys like me and guys like Donald Trump. Because let me tell you something. Listening to that 22-second clip, I have something that I need you to understand. And this is me being completely blunt and honest with you. If he was not handed money by his father, he would have never made it to where he is. With that type of an attitude and the fact that he, as far as he is concerned, he's the only one that matters, he would have never gotten where he was without his dad handing him money. I want you to think about how much money he was handed back in, 1975, 6, 7, somewhere around there? He was handed, $1 million? Think about how much that would be worth in today's economy when you talk about how much money he was actually handed. Because back then, a dollar went a lot further, folks. That's the thing that nobody wants to take into account. Yeah, he was handed this measly $1 million because today, $1 million ain't anywhere near what it was back then. But again, I want you, and there's another clip that we'll be playing here in just a minute, but I want this to sink in. I want you to understand that everything that he's been telling you has been designed because he is the guy that knows how to close the deal. As someone who's done sales, as someone who can legitimately sell ice cubes to Eskimos, let me tell you the biggest thing about being able to close a sales deal. And I'm telling you this honestly because I have closed $1 million deals. When I was running my security agency, I closed anything from $50,000 a year deals. There was 2 or 3 deals that we closed that were over $1 million a year. Now, granted, I didn't get to keep all of that because a lot of it got reinvested and paid out and everything else, but it was still something that on paper made the company over $1 million a year. And I want you to understand that one of the only things that it takes to be able to be a good salesman is the ability to tell your potential customer what it is that they want to hear. There's a reason I don't do that type of work anymore. I can't. I got tired of looking at myself in the mirror and realizing that I was selling everything that I believed in all to chase a dollar. I'm not going to do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. I wouldn't ask anyone else to do that. The people around here that help me try to push the products to get us sponsors and everything else, they do it because they believe in it, not because I expect them to. No one here is chasing a paycheck. We all want one. But no one is here selling our soul to get one. If we make it, when we make it, we're going to do it being ourselves, and we're going to do it in a way that matters to you, the audience. And that has been our goal from day one. Sink or swim, rise or fall, we're going to be us, you're going to be you, and we're going to bring you content that we hope you enjoy. I'm done selling my soul for $1. And I'm done selling the soul of my country for a W. I mean, look, I told you last week I left the Republican Party. These are my exact sentiments as far as I'm concerned about the Republican Party and their big tent right now.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
Actually, I've been there for 20 some odd years. 24. If I'm doing the math right, almost 25. Except I just registered as a libertarian last week. Because it's the first time since I've been old enough to vote that a party that I can also align myself with, other than the Republican Party, was actually recognized by my state. And I did it mostly for the shock value, because I wanted the Republican Party here to understand how unhappy I am with them. Not just the Republican Party nationally, but I'm watching my state crumble. And there's plenty of blame to go around, but the Republicans have had control of everything for quite some time, and they didn't fix anything. So we can all tout the Republican Party and talk about how great it is and how wonderful it is, but the simple fact of the matter is it's broken. It doesn't work anymore. Donald Trump proves that on a daily basis. He really does. And nobody wants to talk about it. And it disturbs me that no one wants to talk about it. I mean, I hear the things that Trump says over and over again. And I hear him talking about building the wall and how he's going to run people out just to bring them back in. And he's going to do this, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to be great. And the only thing I hear over and over and over again is this.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Do you have any idea how annoying it is to have this lady running on a constant loop in your head?
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Because when Donald Trump starts talking, that's what I hear. I'm just being honest. When Donald Trump starts talking, that's what I hear. And when Hillary starts talking, I hear this.
My God, are you still talking?
And then she keeps talking, and then I hear this.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
See, that's the thing, folks. We keep being told because we are not willing to vote for Trump that we're not willing to pull the lever for the Republican nominee should it be Trump, that we are by default voting for Hillary Clinton. That is not true. We have been talking to those of you that are the avid Trump supporters. Some of you were crazy. Notice I said some. I've met a few rational Trump supporters, so I know they're out there. And you guys have been pretty forthcoming as to why it is that you don't like that you like the guy. I'm not saying I understand your logic, but you are being forthcoming. But at the same time, there are the crazy ones out there. The vehement ones, the rabid ones. The ones that basically come after you because you will not vote for Trump. But see, the interesting thing about all of those people, they get mad because we don't want to vote for Trump. There's things that I don't even think they understand about Trump, to be completely honest. And I don't know if they ever will. I mean, do you know how much money he has given away to non-conservative causes over the years? I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And of course, I had the list till I needed the list. Now I can't seem to get it to open. Bear with me for just a moment. I don't think it's going to open for me. Nope, not going to work. All right, so don't want to keep making you guys listen to dead air here. We'll come back to that in a second. But while I'm trying to get that sorted out, I do have another clip that I wanted to play, and then we'll actually talk about it when we come back from the break. This one will actually run for a bit. Now, I'm going to work on this and get it segmented out a little bit better. I'll explain what you're hearing kind of as we go through it here. It only runs for about 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it. The government's going to pay for it.
This tax would raise approximately $5.7 trillion.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
I hate the concept of guns. I'm not in favor of it.
Why are you joining the Reform Party?
I really believe the Republicans are just too crazy right. I mean, hey, I lived in New York City and Manhattan all my life, okay? So, you know, my views are a little bit different than if I lived in Iowa, perhaps.
Partial birth abortion. Would President Trump ban partial birth abortion?
Well, look, I'm very pro-choice.
But you would not ban it?
No.
Or ban partial birth abortion?
No, I am pro-choice in every respect. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say.
Who do you think would be the best qualified to make a deal with Iran?
Hillary's always surrounded herself with very good people. I think Hillary would do a good job.
Make a deal with Iran.
Well, I think Hillary would do a good job.
Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker.
And I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot. She was going to really look to impeach Bush and get him out of office, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
Impeaching him?
I think would have been a wonderful thing.
First of all, I thought he did a great job tonight. I thought he was strong and smart, and it looks like we have somebody that knows what he's doing. And it's a strong guy who really knows what he wants, and this is what we need.
Hillary's a great friend of mine. Her husband is a great friend of mine. I think Hillary is going to take it, and I think Hillary is very, very capable. I'm very pro-choice, a liberal in health care.
Universal health coverage.
I like universal. As far as single payer, it works in Canada. It works incredibly well in Scotland. It just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
Donald Trump and I both agree that there ought to be more taxation.
What do you think of eminent domain?
I think it's a wonderful thing. I'll be honest with you.
For people that have been here for years, that have, been hard workers, have good jobs, are supporting a family, it's very, very tough to just say, you have to leave, get out. How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years? You just can't throw everybody out.
He was basically a Democrat. And he was supportive of Democrats. He was supportive of a lot of the causes that, I cared about and that people I knew cared about.
Donated to Jimmy Carter, donated to Hillary Clinton, donated to Planned Parenthood, owes money to George Soros. Just admitted there multiple times that he's pro-abortion, pro-choice, always has been. Identifies more as a Democrat. I mean, do we need to continue? How is this guy the Republican frontrunner, for God's sake? Let me tell you how, and let me tell you why. Folks like Sean Hannity. Folks for the longest time like Rush Limbaugh, who seems like maybe, just maybe, he's finally starting to realize that he screwed up. Folks like Herman Cain. Folks like Wayne Dupree. All of the other mid-level pundits that are on Trump's payroll. And you know who you are. Don't even pretend like you're innocent in this. Some of you have had your websites completely redone. You all of a sudden have access to funds to do things that are crazy, astronomically expensive since you've come out pro-Trump and you're trying to tell everyone that you're not being paid by Trump. Look, I don't care if you are paid by Trump. But if you're being paid by Trump, then you need to be honest with the people that are listening to you and tell them that you're no longer giving them your opinion. You are giving them the opinion that you are now paid to spoon-feed them. All of you that are in the Trump camp so heavily that you don't even see the crap that you are shoveling to people anymore, you disgust me. You sicken me. I am ashamed that I used to respect half of you that are on talk radio now. I used to look up to Sean Hannity. I used to look up to Rush Limbaugh, even though I always thought he was a little pretentious. I enjoyed his show. Michael Savage, you can hear him in my intro. And yet, most of the time, I cannot stand to listen to him anymore because he is so pro-Trump. So completely pro-Trump, and nobody even knows who the hell this man is. His camp is starting the same things about Cruz that everybody used to say about Obama. Oh, he sealed his records, he's done this, he's done that. There's some story now about some campaign guy that he has involved with his campaign that supposedly ran some hit piece on another campaign for a local election, and the guy And we're back again, folks. We keep losing connection, so it's been an interesting night here. All right, hang on just a second. I want to double check something and make sure we're not going to have any other issues. All right, so it looks like we managed to get things stabilized again. I'm not sure how much of that you caught, so if we're live, if you heard anything weird, don't blame me. I thought I was off the air. All right, so at this point, it is about time for us to go ahead and take a really quick break. We'll be right back here in just a couple minutes with America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. I'll be right back. Going to try to see if I can beat the Gremlins back out of the studio. Back in a minute. Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Calls, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the bill of both religious freedom unless you pray to Jesus Christ. The grass is in our pockets because there's no one free.
Alright folks, we are back. We are live. I think I have all of the gremlins beat out of the studio again, so we're going to try to finish things up before they rear their ugly heads again. Alright, so in case you've missed it, so far we've been doing the usual and railing and ranting a little bit about Donald Trump, letting you hear some crazy things in his own words, hoping that some of you that manage to listen to the show on a daily basis might actually be able to convince some of your friends that maybe he's not the best choice for this country after all, because the simple fact of the matter is he's just not. Look, I know that there are plenty of things that folks disagree with Cruz about, and I know there's all this big hullabaloo about his number being on Ashley Madison, and he supposedly had all these affairs. Look, do you really think that if they had that type of stuff, it wouldn't have been being used from the jump? I mean, everybody's talking about how Rubio's camp was the one that originally wanted to release the story about the affair. Okay, great, fine. Why didn't Rubio use it before he dropped out of the race? Why is it just now being used? The Ashley Madison story's been going on for months and months and months and months, and now all of a sudden somebody says, oh, look, Cruz's number was in the Ashley Madison dump. A prominent senator number in the Ashley Madison dump, and nobody notices it till months and months and months later when he's running for president. I smell a rat. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is there are only a handful of people that are going to know who Ted Cruz really is. One of those is going to be God. The other is going to be Ted Cruz, and then his wife. And if he is stooping anyone else, obviously they would know. But here's the thing. The guy who has admittedly had affairs on all of his wives, I think. I don't know if he's had any on the last one. Not sure. And to put it bluntly, changes positions more often than a porn star, as you could hear from the audio that we just played tonight. Because everything in that audio, which some of it was old, some of it was new, is completely different than anything that he's been saying for the last several months. Anybody remember how he just said it would be nearly impossible and not very humane to kick people out of the country that have been here for as long as some of our illegal aliens have been? It's not what he's saying now. And why is it not what he's saying now? Because he's found something that resonates with the average American people. And I want you to think back to that 22-second segment that I've been playing all show. Yeah, this one right here.
You become very successful. The people that you will like best are the people that are less successful than you. Because when you go to a table, you can tell them all these wonderful stories and they'll sit back and listen. Does that make sense to you? Okay?
No.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Now, I want you to understand something from my perspective. Anytime I see somebody like Eric Bolling or Sean Hannity or Judge Jeanine or even Ann Coulter, who seems like maybe, just maybe, there has been enough to finally penetrate those one or two non-nicotine stained, non-Red Bull infested brain cells of hers, that maybe, just maybe, she's finally starting to understand what a lot of us have been screaming about Trump. But you know what? Here's the thing about Ann Coulter. I can forgive her for what she's done, but I will never, ever, ever forget what she has done. I can forgive Sean Hannity for being so ambitious that he looked before he leapt in the hopes that he was actually going to be one of the driving forces behind putting a Republican into the White House. Because I think on some level he has bought everything that Trump's been selling. I think the same for Michael Savage up until recently. I'm not sure what's going on with Herman Cain, but I do know that he had some pretty not nice words for those of us that keep pushing the Never Trump movement, because we're trying to make you guys understand that there's no way that he's going to win the general, and even if he gets to the general, there's too many of us that cannot and will not pull the lever for him, and it's because of the very things that I keep talking about here over and over and over again. His unfavorable ratings are insane. He cannot articulate a thought that is not spoon-fed to him basically by Sean Hannity or someone else. You really think that he came up with using Sean Hannity's pity plan idea on his own? No, because if you go back and listen to one of the first times that he mentions it, Sean Hannity spoon-fed it to him. This man has not been ready for prime time since day one when it comes to the presidential cycle. And there are now all of these stories that we've gone over and over and over about that are coming out stating that nobody ever thought, even in his own camp, that he would be a front runner for this long. Donald Trump was supposed to be the John Kasich of this election cycle, except my dad's a mailman and I'm secretly running for Postmaster General of the United States. Mr. John Kasich has out-Kasich'd Donald Trump, because that was what they wanted Trump to do. Siphon off enough delegates, make sure that he stayed in somewhere relatively around second place, and just make sure that he was basically going to be a spoiler, which is what they've wanted all along. Now, whether it's the Clintons that have wanted that, or whether it's the establishment that wanted that, and then when they realized just how popular he was, they started freaking the hell out, I don't know. But I know that just because I'm not willing to support Donald Trump, that does not mean that I'm in bed with the establishment. It does not mean that I don't have serious problems with the Republican Party. For Christ's sake, after 24 years, I left the Republican Party 2 weeks ago. I've never in my life been registered to vote as anything other than Republican, and I am no longer a Republican. For those of you that are calling me what you're calling me, and you're giving me grief all day long for telling you exactly how I feel and not pulling any punches and not even telling you who you should vote for, because I would never, ever do that to you. I'm just trying to make you understand how important this is to those of us that cannot pull the lever for Trump. There are legitimate, honest reasons why we can't do it. This is not an emotional reaction. Now, some of it for me honestly started as an emotional reaction because I saw the video of him ridiculing a reporter with a birth defect. I have 2 special needs children. I wanted to reach through the television screen and punch him in his nose till it broke and then shove the piece of it up into his brain. That was my visceral reaction. Didn't say I'm going to do it, but that's what I wanted to do because I have children with special needs. No one in any type of a special needs situation, whether it's by birth or by circumstances later in life, needs to be made fun of the way that man has made fun of that reporter. And anyone who's running for the White House should have enough decorum to never do that. And there are people that lapped that up. They're watching him make fun of a guy with a congenital birth defect, and they loved every second of it. And that's when I realized just how far gone a segment of our country is. And I'm sorry if that hurts for those of you that were watching that and you laughed and you had a good time with it. I'm sorry if me pointing out the fact that you doing that means that I think you need to take a really long, hard look in the mirror and figure out who you are. If me telling you that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. But if you can make fun of someone who was different than you through no fault of their own because of a birth defect, and you can watch someone who's supposed to be running for the highest office in our country do the same thing, and you thought it was funny, and you thought it was time to crack open a beer and make a few jokes, I'm sorry, but I don't want to associate with you. For all of you on the alt-right movement that are now squarely in the Republican Party's tent, I don't want to associate with you either. I didn't like the KKK when it was Democratic. I definitely don't like the KKK that all of a sudden seems like it's showing up as Republican. Not my party. But as of now, not my party, not my problem, because I'm not a Republican anymore. So you guys can do whatever you want to the Republican brand. Douse it in gasoline, light a match. I do not care anymore. I'm not a Republican. I don't even care if they change it to the point where libertarian is not recognized in my state after this election. There's a really good shot that's going to happen if they don't get enough of a vote on the ballot. I'm not changing back. The Republican Party has lost me permanently. And it's lost me permanently for a multitude of reasons. I'm tired of the establishment taking me for granted. I'm tired of the complete and total crazy fringe movements trying to tell me what it is that I need to do and how it is that I need to do it when I'm perfectly capable of making up my own decisions and deciding who it is that I want to vote for. And I'm not telling any of you that are voting for Trump not to vote for Trump. All I'm trying to do is show you the reasons why I can't vote for Trump in the hopes that maybe it shows you something that maybe you didn't know. If you are listening to everything that I'm putting forth and all of the different shows that I've done that have outlined all the different things about Trump that make me understand exactly how not conservative he is, and you can still pull the lever for him, fine. I'm not trying to change your mind. What I'm trying to do is reach the folks that are still basically undecided, that are like, I could vote, I could go either way. But if Trump's the nominee, probably no. If you feel that way, then I need you to go back and listen to all the different shows that I've done over the last several months that have the word Trump in the title. You can find them pretty easy. You can go to iHeart. You can go to Spreaker. You can even search them on SoundCloud. They're pretty much everywhere at this point. You can even find them on Stitcher. So I need you to go back and I need you to listen. Not necessarily in any given order. It doesn't really matter. It's not like I've been doing a continuing series of expose programs. What I've been doing is basically running across audio or other stories that I think are interesting and trying to put them together in a way that helps you understand exactly why a lot of us feel the way that we do. And exactly why a lot of us feel exactly like this about the Republican Party. Yeah, I've already played it once, but I'm going to do it again.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
No, it was 24 years, but I'm not there anymore. Thank you, Sean Hannity. Thank you, Michael Savage. Thank you, Rush Limbaugh. Thank you, Reince Priebus. Thank you, Republican Party. I'm done. And no matter what, I'm not coming back. I can't do it anymore. This is not what I expected my country to be like when I was old enough to be one of the ones calling the shots. We are a mess. We are so far in debt, there's no way out. We are so far in debt, I don't even think there's ever going to be a way that we could find our way out. Because no matter which way you go with it, there's not enough left. Yeah, you could cut corporate taxes and try to stimulate business growth, but what good is that going to do when everything is still cheaper everywhere else? There's not a one-size-fits-all solution here, folks. There's not. There are solutions, but we're going to have to find a way to find them together. And that it really is just about that simple. But the one person who doesn't have any solutions and keeps basically illustrating this point over and over and over again by how often he flip-flops is Donald Trump. And yet, because he's the guy that's been screaming the loudest and screaming the longest, he's the one getting the majority of the attention. But look, again, for those of you that are still to the point where you're undecided, all I'm asking you to do is to take a look at the three guys that are left. If you know that you want to vote Republican because conservatism works when it's tried, and you want to get control of the government back from the elitists, then I want you to look at the three people that are left in this race, and I want you to honestly tell yourself which one you think has the best chance of doing that. Kasich, who's basically become a spoiler for the GOP, which honestly I think was Trump's initial role, but I think it had more to do with the Clinton camp than the GOP. Or Trump, the businessman, who doesn't seem to understand how any of this works and can't seem to articulate a point without backstepping 4 million times. Look, and I understand that that's part of his appeal, because he's not polished. He's not a politician. But do you really want this guy to be the one that articulates the country's policy for the next 4 years? Look, I understand probably better than Donald Trump does that he's not actually going to be the guy across the table at all these negotiations that he's talking about. You know, when he's pounding his chest and say, let me sit down in front of Putin, it'll be huge. He's not going to be the guy that's there, but he's still going to be the one telling the guy that's there what he should say and how he should say it and what he should do. Is that the kind of guy that we need, even by proxy, sitting across the table from Putin? I don't think so. He's not stable enough. He's never been stable enough. He flies off the handle at the smallest things. The smallest, most inconsequential things drive this guy insane. And I wonder why it is, because he doesn't surround himself with people that challenge him. Look, one of the reasons that I love the team that I have here with JD and Stacy and Paul and Angie and the newer guys like, can't think of his name right now, Jackson Richmond, and the host of Cooper Talk. We spend time, even if it's back and forth in emails or in chat groups, we talk to each other. We challenge each other. We make each other think. We don't all have cookie cutter approaches and all have the same ideas. And it's what makes this work. It's what makes any group dynamic work, is putting yourself in a group with challenging minds, with people that are actually smarter than you, whether it's intelligence-wise or common sense-wise. That's right, folks. Whether you want to admit it or not, there are two different kinds of intelligence. And this is one of the things that I've been talking about now for months. I know people that are in Mensa who are practically morons because they have no common sense. They have off-the-chart IQs. You put them in front of a math problem and they can solve it in 30 seconds. You put them in front of a computer code, they can have it cracked in a day. Really, really hard computer code. The other stuff they can crack in like 5 minutes. But watch them try to cross the street, because it's not something that they normally do. Because they're usually in a room off by themselves doing the things that they love to do. This is my point with Trump. We have thrown him into the deep water with the sharks, and he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And this is articulated over and over and over again by the fact that all he does is keep changing his mind based on public opinion. Do you remember when he said polls didn't matter and how everybody liked him because he just told you what he thought? But see, the problem with the sales approach, because that's what he's been using now for months, is the sales approach. He's been telling everybody in select groups what it is they wanted to hear to get them to rant and cheer and jump up and down, and in some cases even swear loyalty to him. But the problem is, now all of these groups that he's told all of these different things to are now starting to come together, and they're like, wait, he said what to you? Because he said this to me. Really? He said that to you? Because he said this to me. Hey, George, weren't you at that meeting the other day over in What's It's Nuts America? You know, and Trump, you said Trump said what? Because I was just at his meeting in Chattahoochee, and he said the exact opposite. And that's what's starting to happen. People are starting to understand in small doses and in select cases that he's telling them what they want to hear to get them to pull the lever. And that's why, if you'll notice, in the national polls, not the Wisconsin polls and not the California polls and not the Oregon polls and not the wherever polls and not the Any Poll USA polls, but in the actual national polls, he loses to Hillary every single time. A lot. Like 24 out of 28 at last count. Because on the national level, people are starting to piece together that he's been feeding them a line of crap for the last several months. The problem is, at this point, the damage now is almost done. There really is not, unless there's, by some miracle, Cruz can run the table for everything that's left. And I haven't looked at the map lately, so that ship may have even sailed. I'll need to do some research before tomorrow's show to find out if there is any way for Cruz or Trump at this point to get to the magic number. Because since Kasich has stayed in, I think it's changed all the dynamics. I mean, and I don't understand. I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is that as an American, I don't necessarily want it to go to a contested convention, but it's not like we've never been there before. Hell, a contested convention brought us Abraham Lincoln. I'll let you decide if that was a good thing or a bad thing, because depending on your perspective, it could be either one. All right, but at this point, folks, it is about time for me to go ahead and get out of here. I've got to get ready for the day job tomorrow. Wish me luck. I've got a really important meeting tomorrow during my lunch break, so I'm really hoping to have some good news here in the next few days, but we will let you know. All right, folks, on that note, I am out for the night. Until I see you again, put down the remote, get off the couch, find a way to get involved. Even if you disagree with 99.9% of what I said, it's time to make a difference. We're running out of time to save the country. Doesn't really matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's still true.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.